Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm here to review Daniel Craig's final James Bond movie, No Time to Die. So this picks up after Spectre, and James Bond's currently in Jamaica where he is hanging out after leaving active service. However, his peace is short-lived as his old CIA friend Felix Leiter shows up and asks for his help with a new mission. Now, the mission they end up going on together is about a kidnapped scientist, and they turn out to be far treacherous than expected, and pretty much, they betray Bond and all that stuff. I will admit I'm not the biggest James Bond fan in the world, and I don't really know that much about the story or the story arc. I kind of just know what's going on in the Daniel Craig world. So I will say, as an average casual James Bond watcher or fan, whatever you want to call it, it was a good movie. It was fun. The stunts were insane. Gotta watch it for the stunts. If you don't want to watch this, at least watch like the action scenes on YouTube in a compilation or something. The stunts are worth the whole fucking movie alone. There's a scene where he's riding a motorcycle and he goes right off the stairs and then just lands right on the ground. Stunt double was definitely on that. It wasn't Daniel Craig, of course, but it was an awesome stunt. You could tell it was not CGI and they were not on a set. He was either on wires or there was some type of balloon they animated out that he fell into. But the stunt looked awesome. There are many other stunts in it. I don't want to spoil a ton of them, but there's just some cool stuff in this movie. So the movie starts off with a girl in a cabin, and there's a guy with a Japanese mask on, and he's coming to kill her, and she hides under the ice, and he shoots into the ice, and just, it looked fucking awesome. It's just cool what they can do with movies now, and this mask was like kind of broken in half. He had like a messed up face, like his face is deteriorating, and it just looked menacing. It's a Bond thing. You know, every character has to have some type of like fucked up deformity on their face. Now, I am, however, a hardcore Hans Zimmer fan, and I will say his score in this was very forgettable. I don't remember picking up on any score or track where I was like, oh, that's pretty good. You know, it was just the theme song and basic stuff. So the score was disappointing. Wasn't terrible, but my ears didn't really, anything click like it did for like Blade Runner. Action, plenty of action. If you're an action fan, this is so for you. Holy shit. And if you are a James Bond fan, I'm very happy for you because this was a awesome send-off for Daniel Craig. Like, they just threw so much action at you. It was great. The biggest positive I have for this movie is this movie ran 2 hours and 36 minutes without credits. That's almost 3 hours, and it flows right by. Didn't feel long at all. And it takes a very good editor, a good script, and a good screenwriter to compact a story that big into 2.5 hours, because a 2.5 hour movie is long, and you can feel a long movie. I wasn't bored at all. I didn't even feel the runtime. I didn't notice the runtime. That's how good the editing and everything else went smoothly in this movie. I give mad respect and props to the whole team for pulling this off. So you're going to get a ton of action. Ana de Armas shows up. Sadly, don't get too excited. I was disappointed too. She's only in one scene, which sucks. I want to see a lot more of her, and a lot of people said the same thing in their reviews. And her scene's long, but it's just one. That's one of the disappointing things about it. But that shouldn't discourage you from watching it. Still, everything else about it is fluid. It's great. It's entertaining. It's fun. It's funny. It's everything you'd want in a James Bond movie. Now, without spoiling too much, basically there's this device. It can infect people, which is weird because it was a virus, and the virus attacks certain people, and I was like, oh, this is touching close to real life here. The Spectre thing, I'm not going to spoil, but there's this device that is infecting people, and Bond's got to stop him, and the guy that has the device is in a location, and Bond's got to go visit him, and then you find out some more about Bond's past. It's actually something that's very surprising, and then there's the ending, which has some of the coolest fighting I've seen. James Bond shooting a guy, and he uses his whole body to like duck under it, and then he shoots the guy. And what I liked about this movie is Bond was picking up other enemies' weapons to use for himself. You don't see that very much in movies. Usually they have just an unlimited supply of ammo because everyone can carry around like 200 pounds of ammunition on them, like in The Matrix, the first one. He was picking up other weapons and using them. He was constantly throwing other weapons out and then grabbing the gun, reloading it, pulling the hammer back, and then firing it. And then when he'd run out, he would throw the gun in someone's face and then grab their gun and use it on them and then pick up another gun. I don't see that in movies too often, so that was pretty awesome. You know, it's a James Bond movie. James Bond movies aren't realistic. I'm just saying I liked that touch. As I said before, this is a spoiler-free review. The ending was a great send-off for Daniel Craig. Great for you, man. I'm glad you had a good run. You were able to get this movie out. And you had the perfect send-off. The team couldn't have thought of a better way to end this movie. The ending of this movie alone spiked my grade up. I was sitting at a B. By the ending alone, it spiked it to a B+. And that's what I'm going to grade No Time to Die. A B+. As I said before, this review is going to be spoiler-free. I just want to comment on the ending and congratulate Daniel Craig. You had the perfect send-off. Congratulations, guys. You did a fantastic job. So if you're a James Bond fan, you're probably in heaven right now. The trailers are not deceptive at all. The movie is what it is when you see in the trailer, and it's a great movie to see if you're an action fan or a James Bond fan. I highly recommend checking this out. Well, that was my review for James Bond No Time to Die, guys. I got more reviews coming up, so I'll see you movie fans on that next review.